Sadly, no more sheep this morning.
So I heard the mountain sheep basically until I fell asleep last night. Haven't heard them this morning, so I'm guessing they moved on, unfortunately, but that was really cool.
I was a little bit concerned about rodents because I'm off in the trees here, so I was extra super careful. I pretty much always sleep with my food. I know. You can have a nice discussion with me at the comments. Just don't start yelling and quoting things that have no basis. So this goes inside of my pack, and I've never had anything try and chew in. It basically, the material protects it. And then I even put my shoes and, more importantly, my hiking poles, because you'll get deer and things that'll chew on the handles for the salt. So I've been carrying this Reflectrix to just add a little extra, insulation to my normal switchback sleeping pad, and it's worked well, but I'm really getting sick of carrying this on the top, because when I pop off my sleeping pad in order to make a nice little seat, I've got to deal with this floating around. So I'm just going to jam it in the bottom of the pack. So I know of multiple incidences where people have been seriously hurt or killed by branches falling on them. So anytime I get under something like this, A, I set up the tent so that branch wasn't going to land straight on me, and B, I go and push on trees and branches and just make sure it's not about to go. There was one case on the AT where I came up to a camp, there was a tree kind of leaning over next to it, and I was on the phone with Jen or somebody, and I went and kicked it just to make sure it was solid, and it promptly exploded. I used to do a talk at Joshua Tree when I was working one of the rock skills stations we did, called How to Die Awesome, and it was basically try and avoid dying stupidly. I always said that, if anything was going to kill me, I was probably going to go climb Everest, then come back and bust my head open on the stairs or the sidewalk or something. I did actually make my 15 miles yesterday, just barely. So today, if my mileage is reasonable, that should put me within spitting distance of Summer Haven. After that, I've got a couple of days to get down into Oracle, at which point I'll have a hotel, so I'll be able to fully charge everything. I feel like I'm really meeting my goals as far as minimizing town time on this one, but the batteries are still dragging me. I may look at paying that weight penalty and getting one of those 1 to 2 hour charge 20Ks, assuming they are actually 20K. Don't even get me started on knockoff brand electronics and not living up to their specs. And looks like my friend from last night got moving already. Kind of figured he was just out for an overnight. He was packed pretty light, but he had a chair and everything. Usually don't get through hikers with chairs, at least not very far into the trail. And that is a beautiful sight. Pit toilet first thing in the morning. And of course, I always forget to take my trash out of my food bag, and it's really not worth opening it up, just to save a couple of ounces. Okay, no tables being used here. So it's now Tuesday, and doing the math with my kind of relaxed 15-mile days, it does look like I'm likely to get into Oracle Thursday instead of Friday. If I can get a nice private hotel room, I am fine with taking a 0. Plenty of things to do, get uploaded, etc., etc. Otherwise, I'll probably just end up having a short day camping within a couple of miles of the road, not at the road, because I don't want to get hassled, road noise, etc. And then going in early Friday and hoping she finds a place that has early check-in. I usually schedule 0s based on when I feel run down for multiple days, because there's stuff like yesterday where, yes, I was dragging, but I'd had a big day the day before. This morning, usual little bits of soreness, but not feeling too bad. But after a while, I will just get grumpy, for lack of a better term, and getting some hot food and some time in bed and letting things heal up for a day tends to have a marked improvement on my disposition. If you wonder why I didn't stay at the campground like other people or go into some of the other towns or stay in Patagonia, it gets costly really, really quick. Most of the expenses, outside of major gear breaking on a through hike, tend to be when you're in town and you're buying town food, town drinks, town hotels, things like that. So, as part of this lifestyle, I got to give up some comforts, and minimizing town stops works pretty well for me. I'd rather do that than, minimize trail miles or something silly like that. So this is an interesting spot. There's some sort of wilderness bypass here, but it doesn't seem to really cut off much mileage. I'm doing the western red line route, of course, but I'd be interested to know what the actual story is behind it. because it appears maybe it was like the old AZT route, because if you jump forward on the waypoints, it seems to take the bypass. Hey, what do you know? There's actually a tower up here somewhere. Ah, I see it. It's in the background. Upper right there. So that lady back there is a Flagstaff local. And I was telling her that, oh yeah, hike's going really good, other than I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about the whole, Flagstaff pine thing. She did confirm that when it gets hot out here, things change quick. But also said there's a couple of areas where it's going to be some pretty significant snow. It is just a weird year, and you can only do what you can do. I guess another possibility, if I do get stopped, if it doesn't look conducive to, buying a pair of snowshoes and pushing through on that, I could see about jumping over to another trail that's a couple 100 miles, do that, finish up here, then go on to the Mississippi. I'm not holding out much hope for Utah at this point. The reality is, though, things can change on a dime out here. I've known people who have broken legs, hips, etc., and one twisted ankle and all of a sudden your season's over or massively changed. So it's not worth worrying too far ahead. Like I was telling her, my main thing is I know at this point that hurrying doesn't help me. It's better to just kind of go at a moderate pace, keep an eye on what's happening up at Pine and Flagstaff, and then see once I get closer. Hey, fun times. So they mark these crossings with red warning signs. I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue though. I might even have to get my feet wet. And wet feet replace sweaty feet. I am drinking a bunch because it is warm down here. It'll be good to climb. I'm only at 3,800 right now. Well, that looks promising. Okay, per the lady I just ran into coming the other direction, I do have a bit of a dry stretch, but it's only like 4 miles. I'll probably start looking to camp after that. Plus side, I get to do a exposed climb at the end of the day. So there's Micah. Sweet, maybe I'll see some more sheep or hear them. So the far out waypoint is full of moaning about the climb from this junction up to the top. Okay, and it is that time of night. Water, and then looking for a private, relatively protected campsite. Between my speed through Saguaro and then slowing down the day after and now kind of back to normal, I seem to have shaken most of the others who were kind of bubbling around me prior to that. Most of the people that I've seen today have actually been going in the opposite direction
There was one younger couple going my way, but I'm pretty sure they weren't doing the AZT. Didn't look like they had long enough distance gear. And looks like I'm not alone up here. I started to see tents sprout up all over the place, you know, on vegetation, just wherever the hell. But fortunately, this area, it's like the Sierra in that cross country looks pretty easy. So I just went off trail and looks like I found something. Home sweet home for the night. Even got internet so I can check in with Blondie.